Welcome back. My name is Nigel MrSchroeter, and today we are going to give you guys some knowledge that you may not know that will change your life. So, as you guys may know, they call me Mr. Don't Sleep on the Money because I'm going to tell you guys all the places in your life where you could be maximizing your finances, making more money, saving more money, and creating wealth for your family and your financial future. And today we're going to be talking about an extension to the common phrase, your network is your net worth, right? And today we're going to talk about how your neighborhood affects your net worth. All right, so many of us may not know these things. They may not know these things to be true. We may not know these things to be true, but they are right in our face, and we need to know these things in order to move forward. All right. We cannot fight to get to the top and break the chains and beat out the system without knowing what the system has against us. So today, let's go ahead and get right into this. The first way that your neighborhood affects your net worth is your opportunities. All right. So growing up from a child, when you grow up in certain more affluent neighborhoods, you have access to certain things that you don't have growing up in other neighborhoods. For instance, your neighbor's skills. So if your neighbors are realtors, if your neighbors are carpenters, if your neighbors are plumbers, electricians, when your neighbors hold these higher stake jobs, or they work on Wall Street, whatever it is that your neighbors do, and you can kind of go in and adopt some of their skills, adopt some of their tactics, learn about some of the things that your neighbors are doing to create money for themselves. It's going to help you later on in life because you're going to realize that there's more opportunities, that there's more things out there, and you're going to be more employable because you're going to have more skills, and you're going to be more knowledgeable because you're going to have more of these skills. Now, the next thing is just flat out doing basic manual labor for your neighbors. Say you go and you cut your neighbor's grass, you trim your neighbor's tree, you walk your neighbor's dog, you babysit your neighbor's kids. If you're growing up in an affluent area, you're going to have access to more funds from doing these things because your neighbors are going to be willing to pay you more for doing these same activities that you would do growing up in another neighborhood because they have the means to do so. So whereas in certain neighborhoods, parents may leave the kids home alone, or they may get grants for childcare or other things. If you grow up in other neighborhoods where you can be that childcare service, you can create a stream of income off of that and eventually build that and scale that into a full-on, nanny service or some other type of business. So it's opening you up to a lot of opportunities. The next thing is education. When we talk about the kids that live in these affluent neighborhoods, school zoning is a way or method that is able to separate children legally by geographic boundaries. So by separating children based upon where they live, we can separate socioeconomic classes and keep the wealthy kids in school with the wealthy kids and the poor kids in school with the poor kids. And this is a major way right now that we're seeing a huge separation in the education realm. And we're seeing all these gaps because the students that are going to these schools with neighborhoods that make more money are having access to more opportunities in school. They're having engineering programs and technology programs, programming. All these different programs and equipment are available to them at their schools, whereas in the more poor neighborhoods, you're not seeing these things available. So now let's go ahead and move on a little bit more and let's talk about, your general climate. Not to say that every neighborhood that's low income has, has criminal activity or anything to stereotype. But when we talk about statistically, when you live in certain places, you're going to feel safer. So when you live in these places and you have this safety, it actually increases your brain function and it increases your productivity. By you feeling safer, you're more relaxed, you're more calm, you're more able to be more productive and accomplish more. It's something that is just true. Our inhibitors and inside of our bodies um, change based upon our environment. And those are the things that are going to be affecting you based upon where you live and how comfortable you are there. So you don't want to be somewhere where it could potentially trigger you to feel uncomfortable, because then it can affect you overall, your mental health, your emotional health, and so on and so forth, until eventually it will affect you physically. Now, these are the ones that are the bigger kickers that a lot of us do not know, but I'm here to break down to you guys, right? So, when we talk about living in wealthier neighborhoods, right? How is it affecting our net worth directly? How it's affecting our net worth is wealthier neighborhoods pay lower percentages for property taxes, right? So this isn't always true, but in most cases in the United States, this is true. The wealthier neighborhoods pay lower percentages on property taxes. Therefore, they're paying less property taxes, and their cities typically have more attractions and more things in their cities. So more tax dollars are coming from the city and the county budget to go to these neighborhoods to improve them, to give them parks, to give them street lights, to give them all these things that you're not seeing in the less affluent neighborhoods. So just remember that the tax dollars are going to these neighborhoods, and they're actually paying out less of the tax dollars to get more. And one of the bigger ones that we don't even notice because we're so used to from day one is your insurances. When you live in wealthier neighborhoods, typically your car insurance is cheaper. This is due to car insurance being based off of um, your geographic location. It's based off of how many accidents happen in that neighborhood. The average cost of the insurance that's being paid out, how many break-ins you have, how many robberies, if your car is on a list of highly or frequently stolen cars, all these different things. So when we're talking about more affluent neighborhoods and especially gated communities where it's harder for people to get in, you're going to pay lower insurance right along with those lower property taxes. Um, and last but not least, being able to take a lot of those skills that you can acquire, like we talked about before, and turn them into more job opportunities within your neighborhood and your community, as well as within the world. So overall, there's so many caveats and nuances to this. I asked this as a question a few days back, and I wanted to really see what people's opinions were without, coming out and putting the facts. So now that the facts are out there, I want you guys to comment below and tell me how you feel about these things, and if you really believe that your neighborhood can affect your net worth, if you really agree with these statements, and how we feel about seeing how geographics and socioeconomics can and are still affecting us to this day. As always, thank you guys. Please, please, please let me know how you felt about this video down below in the comments. Like this video and share this video out with others, and we'll see you guys in the next one.